A 26-year-old woman is dead, and police are looking for her killer. They said the shooting may have happened in front of her own children.
2:50 a.m., April 3rd, 2024, Dayton, Ohio. A woman dials 911. Her voice is steady, but there's urgency bleeding through every word. She tells the dispatcher her ex-boyfriend is threatening to shoot up her house. She gives them his name, Jamarte Brown. She mentions her 2 children sleeping inside. The call ends. Police are dispatched. 14 minutes later, Montanae Davis is dying on her kitchen floor. Have you ever stayed with someone a little too long? Ignored warnings from friends? Convinced yourself things would get better? This isn't a story about someone who didn't see it coming. Montanae saw it. She called for help. She named her killer before he even arrived, and she still couldn't survive the night. So here's the question that's going to haunt you. If doing everything right isn't enough, what is? Stay until the end. I'm giving you 2 potentially life-saving tips on how to escape abusive relationships and domestic violence. Not theory, survival tactics. If this story matters to you, hit that subscribe button. Real stories deserve real attention. Let me take you back to who Montanae was before that call, before the gunshots, before her name became another statistic. September 26, 1997. Montanae Antoinette LeMaque. Chantel Davis was born to Melissa Dennis and Antione Davis. 26 years later, she'd built something remarkable. She was a licensed practical nurse, LPN, fresh off passing her boards in September 2023. But she wasn't stopping there. Late nights, early mornings, textbooks spread across the kitchen table while her 2 daughters slept upstairs. She was working toward her RN, then her BSN. Her memorial program said it best. She believed she could, so she did. Her patients remembered her warmth. Her family remembered her generosity. Her daughters knew her as the mom who kissed them goodnight, even when exhaustion was written across her face. Montanae graduated from Thurgood Marshall High School in 2015, pushed through Miami Valley CTC, racked up tons of clinical hours, and became the kind of nurse who didn't just show up, she cared. April the 2nd, 2024, another late night, the kind Montanae was used to. Books open, coffee getting cold, kids asleep, quiet house on Torrington Place, but someone else was awake too. Someone who knew where she lived. Someone who'd already made his decision. At 2:50 a.m., Montanae picks up her phone. Not to study, not to check on her daughters, to beg for her life. She tells the dispatcher exactly who's coming to kill her. His name is Jamarte Brown, and he's already on his way. Welcome to True Crime Footprint, where we unveil the darkest mysteries and the most terrifying true crime tales. Kindly hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of our new stories. Your support keeps these stories alive. She knew. She absolutely knew what was coming. That 911 call wasn't a precaution. It wasn't paranoia. Montanae Davis was reporting a murder in progress, her own. She told the Montgomery County dispatcher that Jamarte Latrell Brown, her ex-boyfriend, was actively threatening to shoot up her house. Not maybe. Not if she didn't do something. He was coming. Right now. She gave them his full name, Jamarte Latrell Brown. No confusion. No guessing. She handed law enforcement everything they needed on a silver platter. Then she mentioned her 2 children. Police were dispatched immediately. Torrington Place, 700 block, units en route. But Dayton's a sprawling city, and distance doesn't care about urgency. Every second those patrol cars spent racing through empty streets was a second Montanae spent listening, waiting, praying her daughters stayed asleep. What goes through your mind in those minutes? Do you grab your kids and run? Do you lock the doors and hope? Do you stand in the hallway between their bedrooms and whatever's coming through that door? Montanae wasn't alone. A friend was staying with her that night, another woman, and she was armed. 2 women, 2 children, 1 house, 1 threat closing in fast. Brown didn't call when he arrived, didn't knock, didn't ask to talk. He went straight to the back of the house and started kicking. Back door, back garage door, wood splintering, hinges screaming. This wasn't rage. This was execution with a countdown. The door gave way. Jamarte Brown stepped inside, gun already drawn, and opened fire. Multiple shots. Kitchen. The same kitchen where Montanae probably made breakfast for her daughters that morning. The same space where she studied nursing textbooks just hours earlier, building a future that would now never exist. Montanae's friend didn't freeze. She returned fire. Gunshots cracking through the house. Chaos, smoke, ringing ears. The kind of violence that shatters suburban quiet into 1,000 irreparable pieces. Brown ran. He didn't stay to finish what he started, didn't check if Montanae was dead, just turned and disappeared into the pre-dawn darkness, leaving her bleeding out on the floor. This is why your engagement matters. Share this story. Someone in your life might need to hear it. Hit that like button if you're still with me. Officers arrived minutes later. They found Montanae in the kitchen, barely clinging to life. Multiple gunshot wounds. They worked fast. Tourniquets, pressure, radio calls, and rushed her to Miami Valley Hospital. But by 4:50 a.m., just 2 hours after she made that call, Montanae Antoinette Lemeke Chantel Davis was gone. 26 years old, a mother, a nurse, a woman who did everything society tells you to do when you're in danger. And the man who killed her, he vanished into the Dayton night. A mother is dead, a killer is loose. And detectives have exactly one goal: find him before he disappears forever. Homicide investigators didn't wait for morning briefings or task force meetings. This was a same-day operation. Jamartae Brown had a head start, but not much of one. He'd fled on foot, which meant he was either hiding close or scrambling for a ride out of Dayton. By midday, detectives zeroed in on the 4500 block of Queens Avenue. Surveillance footage, witness interviews, pressure applied to anyone who might have seen something, heard something, or helped someone they shouldn't have. Then they caught a break. A man was spotted near a storm sewer. He was crouched down, moving quickly, shoving something inside. When investigators retrieved it, they found a firearm, wrapped in a toddler-sized t-shirt. Let that sit for a second. Not a rag, not a towel, not some random piece of fabric he grabbed on the way out. A toddler's shirt, small enough to fit a 2-year-old, maybe 3. The kind of shirt a mother folds and puts in a drawer. The kind a little girl wears to daycare or while playing in the backyard. Likely one of Montana's daughters. He didn't just kill her. He invaded her home, murdered her in the space where her children lived, and then used a piece of their childhood to hide the evidence. That's not just murder. That's erasure. He wanted to destroy not only Montanae, but the sanctuary she'd built for her family. The shirt became Exhibit A in the tampering with evidence charge. But it was more than evidence. It was a message about who Jamartae Brown really was.
They said the shooting may have happened in front of her own children.
Now, this happened in Montgomery County about 3 o'clock this morning on Torrington Place, just off Salem Avenue. News Center 7's Mike Campbell joins us live with what 911 calls and police are telling him. Mike?
Well, Gabrielle, investigators downtown at the Dayton Police Department headquarters and those here at the West Patrol Operations Division tell me the entire homicide squad is working on this case. Now, you could actually hear shots being fired when one person dialed 911, and it appears the victim herself made a chilling call moments earlier.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
We are not using the audio that appears to be the 26-year-old victim. She told dispatchers an ex-boyfriend was calling her, threatening to shoot up her house, and she told dispatchers she had 2 children. Then dispatchers received a second call, they believe from another adult female that was in the house, but that call dropped.
Hello? 911, we got a call from this number. Is everything okay? Where are you? Where are you?
Police were already on the way after the first call, but more officers headed to the street and the home after the second call.
They found a female, 26 years of age, who had been shot. They did first aid at the scene, but unfortunately she passed away later at the hospital.
Dayton Police Major Brian Johns told us they are following up on some information shared with them in the 911 calls.
There is information that we are aware of, that there was like a break-in there first, that there was like a fight taking place, and then the shots were actually fired, and she was struck and killed.
Police told me their forensic services unit recovered a lot of evidence that they are analyzing. They didn't want to tell me if someone in the home returned fire against the person that broke in or not. They also wouldn't confirm if the victim's children were in the home when the tragedy took place.
I cannot comment yet on that. We do have a person of interest that we're trying to follow up on. Our entire homicide unit right now is out working this complaint, trying to bring some resolution and some justice for the victim and her family.
4:10 p.m., April 3rd, 2024. Less than 14 hours after Montanae bled out on her kitchen floor, officers closed in on the 2000 block of North James H. McGee at Child Street. Jamarte Latrell Brown, 24 years old, was taken into custody without incident. No chase, no standoff, just handcuffs in a squad car. The Montgomery County grand jury didn't hesitate. Brown was indicted on 13 felony charges, 4 counts of aggravated murder, the kind that comes with premeditation, the kind that comes with killing someone during another violent felony, 2 counts of murder, aggravated burglary for kicking in that door, aggravated robbery, 2 counts of felonious assault, tampering with evidence for that toddler shirt wrapped around a gun. Bond was set at $1 million. But here's what makes this case even worse. Jamarte Brown wasn't just some jealous ex-boyfriend who snapped. He was already on law enforcement's radar, federal radar. Brown had been indicted in a separate case, United States versus Drain, as part of an 11-defendant drug trafficking conspiracy. The feds had been building a case against him for months. GPS trackers on his vehicle, a 2013 Chrysler, search warrants for a house on Norman Avenue, seizure warrants for his cell phone. This was organized crime. This was a man who operated in a world where violence was currency and the law was just an obstacle to work around. He had access to weapons. He had connections. He lived outside the rules most of us follow. And when Montanae tried to leave him, he brought that world straight to her doorstep. If you've made it this far, drop a comment. What should the justice system do with someone like this? And don't forget to subscribe. We're covering more cases like this every week. Brown was behind bars. The evidence was overwhelming. The charges were severe. It seemed like justice was inevitable. But here's where the case takes a twist. July 5th, 2024. Brown enters a plea. And it's not what anyone expected. Not guilty by reason of insanity. That's the defense. After a premeditated 911 threat, after forced entry, after execution-style murder, insanity, July 5th, 2024. Jamarte Brown stood before the court and entered his plea. His attorneys argued he wasn't in his right mind when he kicked down Montanae's door and shot her multiple times, that he couldn't be held fully responsible because his mental state was compromised. The court ordered a mental evaluation on July 26th. Now, the question hanging over the case wasn't just whether Brown was guilty, everyone knew he was, but whether he'd face real consequences or slip through a legal loophole designed for people who genuinely can't distinguish right from wrong. Would he escape accountability? Let's examine the evidence that directly contradicts any claim of insanity. Brown contacted Montanae before the attack. He threatened to shoot up her house. That's not impulse. That's announcement. He knew what he was planning, and he wanted her to know it too. Fear was part of the plan. He knew exactly where she lived. Torrington Place. He didn't wander the streets confused. He drove straight there with purpose. He forced entry through the back of the house. Not the front door where neighbors might see, the back. That's tactical thinking. That's someone making calculated decisions to minimize witnesses and maximize surprise. After the shooting, he fled. Didn't stay at the scene. Didn't turn himself in. He ran because he understood consequences. He knew what he'd done was wrong, and he didn't want to get caught. Then he disposed of the murder weapon, wrapped it in a toddler-sized t-shirt, and shoved it into a storm sewer. That's consciousness of guilt. That's someone who knows evidence leads to conviction and is actively trying to destroy it. Every single action he took, from the threat to the attack to the cover-up, showed planning, intent, and full awareness of reality. How do you plead insanity when you literally announced your own crime? When you named yourself as the threat? When every move you made demonstrated you knew exactly what you were doing? September 13th, 2024. Judge Mary Montgomery of the Montgomery County Common Pleas Court issued her ruling. After reviewing the psychiatric evaluation in the mountain of evidence, she found Jamarte Brown presently competent to stand trial. The insanity defense was rejected. The case would move forward. Brown would face all 13 felony charges, 4 counts of aggravated murder, 2 counts of murder, aggravated burglary, aggravated robbery, felonious assault, tampering with evidence. As of now, Brown remains in the Montgomery County Jail awaiting trial. That $1 million bond ensures he's not going anywhere. The legal process grinds forward slowly, but it grinds. But here's what haunts me about this case. Montanae did everything she was supposed to do. She left him. She recognized the danger. She called 911. She named him. She had a friend staying with her, armed and ready to protect. She followed every piece of advice we give to domestic violence survivors. And she still died. So what can we learn? If doing everything right isn't enough, what is? Before we close, I promised you 2 life-saving tips. If you or someone you know is in an abusive relationship, what comes next could save a life. Montanae's story isn't just a tragedy, it's a warning. And these 2 tips aren't theory, they're survival tactics. Tip number 1, the danger peak is during separation. Most domestic violence murders don't happen during the relationship. They happen when the victim tries to leave. Jamarte Brown didn't attack Montanae while they were together. He attacked after. The moment you decide to walk away is statistically the most dangerous moment of your life. Why? Because abusers don't see breakups as endings. They see them as loss of control. And some will do anything, including murder, to reclaim that control. So if you're planning to leave, here's what you need to do. Don't announce you're leaving. Don't give them a heads up. Don't have the closure conversation. Just go. Pack a bag in advance. Clothes, important documents, cash, medications. Hide it somewhere they won't find it. At a friend's house, in your car trunk, at your workplace. The second you leave, change everything. New routes to work, new grocery store, new gym, new coffee shop. If they know your routine, they know where to find you. Break the pattern immediately. Tell someone you trust your exact plan, where you're going, when you'll check in, who to call if you don't. Montanae had a friend with her that night, and that friend fought back. But one person isn't always enough. The bottom line, separation is the most lethal phase. Treat it like a military extraction, not a breakup. Tip number 2, a restraining order is paper, not protection. Montanae called 911. She gave them Jamarte Brown's full name. Police were dispatched. It didn't matter. He still got to her. A restraining order tells the system someone is a threat, but it doesn't stop bullets. It doesn't stop someone willing to kick down a door at 2:50 in the morning. Legal action is important. Document everything, file reports, get that order, but never mistake paperwork for safety. Combine legal steps with physical ones. Install security cameras. Front door, back door, garage, driveway. Make sure they're connected to cloud storage so footage is saved even if the system is destroyed. Change your locks immediately. Don't assume they gave back all the keys. Just change them. Vary your schedule. If you leave for work at 7:15 every morning, start leaving at 6:45 or 7:30. Unpredictability is your friend. Never agree to meet them one last time. Not for closure, not to talk, not to return belongings. Nothing. Every face-to-face meeting is a risk. If you can afford it, consider relocation. A new apartment, a new city. Distance creates a buffer that restraining orders can't. And if possible, have someone stay with you. Montanae did this. Her friend was armed and fired back. It still wasn't enough, but it might have been worse without her there. The system has gaps. You have to fill them yourself. Montanae Davis was 26 years old when she died. She'd just become a licensed practical nurse after endless hours of clinical training, late-night studying, and sheer determination. But she wasn't done. She was working toward her RN, then her BSN. She was building something, a career, a future, financial stability for her 2 daughters. She believed she could, so she did. That was her motto, and she lived it. Every patient she cared for, every exam she passed, every morning she woke up exhausted and still showed up. Montanae was a healer, a mother, a fighter. Her potential was stolen at 26. Here's the truth we have to face. Domestic violence doesn't discriminate. Education doesn't protect you. A career doesn't protect you. Strength doesn't protect you. Montanae was all of those things, and she still became a victim. 1 in 4 women will experience severe intimate partner violence in their lifetime. That's not rare. That's an epidemic. And the system, police response times, restraining orders, court processes, has gaps wide enough for people like Jamarte Brown to slip through. You have to protect yourself. You have to have a plan, and you have to act before it's too late. If this story impacted you, do 3 things. Subscribe so we can keep telling these stories. Share this video, it might save someone's life. And comment below, what change needs to happen to protect people like Montanae? Montanae knew. She called. She warned them. She named him. At 2:50 a.m. on April 3rd, 2024, she did everything right, and it still wasn't enough. Let's make sure her story changes someone else's ending. Our hearts ache for Montanae's family. Words feel inadequate. But please know you are held in deepest sympathy and prayers. May you find strength and comfort in the memories of Montanae. Thank you for watching, for your attention, and for joining us on this journey of reflection. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and above all, stay safe. See you on our next video.